That is a good freaking sentence, Nathan.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I was doing okay.
You were
today.
doing okay.
Today's been a weird day
Okay.
because part of it stems from one of my classes, which is it's what is it? EDS 334 Elements of Teaching and Writing, which is an education course as part of my certification to teach English, right? Mm-hmm. And there's 3 of us in the class, right? But one of us is not here physically on campus.
Okay. Like online permanently?
Kind of online.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there aren't that many people in the program in the first place, so which means there's even fewer people in our particular spot in like the progression of courses. This student at the right before the semester started, she like lost an immediate family member.
Oh, that's awful.
And so like she wouldn't be able to function really.
Yeah.
But she still wanted to like try to take some classes. So she's like taking a couple of online half semester UIS things and like this class and then something else.
Right.
So, and it's weird that we have an assigned room in Hillier, right? Mm-hmm. But because there's only 2 of us who actually are here, we tend to meet in the English department conference room.
Okay.
But the other guy is an athlete and sometimes has games.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, so that gets in the way of things.
Yeah, and so it's like there's only 3 of us.
Right.
But it's still like a real big challenge just trying to get us all in the same, quote unquote, in the same place at the same time.
Right. Oh, that's frustrating.
And so
sorry to interrupt.
This particular week we had like some presentations due.
Yeah.
But because of all this, like not ours availability is not converging, it's like my teacher just decided, okay, we're going to throw up a discussion board on Blackboard.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to do this because we can't physically meet to do this. And which means I don't technically have class today for that class.
Right.
It's an online session where we just post to the board. And I got here really early this morning. I feel like I say that every podcast. It's like, I commute and I get here stupid early.
Yeah.
So I could work on something. And I already knew we weren't going to meet for this Elements of Teaching Writing class.
Sure.
So I only had 2 classes left. A screenwriting class from 10:50 to 12:05 and a playwriting class from 2:05 to 3:20. In the middle of my screenwriting class, I get an email from my instructor for playwriting that she's sick and she had to cancel class.
Oh my God.
And then I felt like, man, that's going to be, so there's going to be 5 or 6 hours between me getting out of this one class and then like waiting to podcast with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey, I would have, if I had known, I might have skipped my class. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But how are you? Like, how are you? Maybe not today. Maybe today was a bit of an off day, but
I'm doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making it through. I'm keeping up with my classes and keeping up with assignments. Kind of a lot of them I'm submitting right before they're due. But I'm doing okay. And after I finished the thing that I was supposed to throw up on the discussion board, in the time that I would have had that other class that got canceled. So I feel good. I'm staying on top of things.
Okay, good. Yeah. I've been busy, honestly. This semester's probably the hardest semester of courses that I will take at the university. So
what are you taking? What's happening?
So I'm preparing for the possibility of graduate school
okay.
down the line. So I'm taking Calc 2, linear algebra, predictive modeling, econometrics, and then a policy course. So it's 4 math-heavy courses.
Oh, God.
And then 1 policy course. And it's not that I don't like them, but I haven't taken like a math class since I was a freshman.
Or at least not like a rather intensive kind of math class.
Right. And all of these are either math or math intensive. So,
Yeah. I haven't taken a math class since Well, my first semester here, I took the like the math requirement for people who are not in a STEM field, so contemporary mathematics, which I breezed by so quick that I don't even remember what the hell I learned. Like it was for one, I'm rather decent at math, so like it didn't feel that challenging.
Right.
But I don't think I've taken like an actual math course aside from that, or at least one that was like actually intensive since like a calculus course a few years ago.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I took Calculus 1 as a freshman. Haven't even like brushed up on math since, besides like just basic econ math, which is until you get to like the heavier stuff, it's really little to none calculus. And now I've got 4 math heavy courses, one of which is calculus, and I gotta admit, it's kind of kicking my ass. Like I am.
I suspect it would.
Yeah, I am exhausted, but that's honestly like, last time we talked, which I know is a while ago, but it still holds true. That's on me for like budgeting my time a little poorly again this semester. But the good news is, and we can talk about this for a bit if you want, part of my schedule is clearing up. It's good news. It's good news and bad news. So the good news is my basketball season has ended, so I have more time to study. The bad news is I coach basketball and we lost in the playoffs the other day, and I was rather disappointed that we lost.
I'm sorry.
No, it's bad. It's sad because I really like the team that I was coaching, and it was a lot of. So I coach like a youth league.
Yeah,
it was 12-year-old travel. And the kids like started to really play as a team at the end of the season, heading into the playoffs, and I don't know. It was a really good group of kids. So it's kind of sad that the season's over, but definitely like relief that I have more time now.
Okay, I thought you meant like you play basketball for the school.
Oh no,
or something like that.
No, I'm not nearly that talented or coordinated.
But that's cool, coaching kids for basketball. But of course, so you're saying, like, of course you would have wanted them to win and like go for playoffs, but
right.
Being that you didn't make playoffs, that means that time is freed up.
So we made the playoffs. We lost in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're right. Like it's disappointing that we lost. I wish that we would have won, but the silver lining is now I have more time to study and rest.
Yeah, and four math-ish courses. That's insane.
I mean, like a lot of people, I guess, do that. Like have, especially like a math major or
like someone in engineering or something
right,
like
or
that.
engineering. They already do that. I guess the difference is I'm an idiot. No. I'm partially kidding, but I just like having not taken math in a while. Like it's just it hit me all at once. But I'm gonna, now that I have the time to dedicate, I'm going to dedicate more time towards my actual studying. Like besides, right now I've just been like doing assignments and showing up. Whereas normally I like to like actually put thought into, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just do the minimum. Whereas, which I definitely do all the time. When I'm, crunch for time, I just do the minimum. But when you fall behind in a course, you really need to put in that extra effort.
Yeah, because if you fall behind, sometimes it feels like, you don't want to have to put in more effort than you were previously, but then you end up falling more behind because of it.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. I hope I can find a happy middle where now that I've got the time, I can still relax, do the things I actually want to do, like just resting and stuff, but actually like put in more work.
Yeah, I hope I also hope you have the time to like collect yourself so you don't go crazy.
Yeah, that would suck, right?
Yeah. I also hope I have that time too, because I think I'm having it. I'm just not managing it properly.
Well, I don't know. Well, last time we talked, you said you were taking over 20 credits.
No, it was just 20.
Just
20 on 20.
Right.
And it's 20 again, guys.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Benson?
Well, I mean, I try not to. I don't think of it as overloading because the way I look at it is 18 credits full load of 6 normal 3-credit academic classes.
Yeah.
Like to fulfill my programs, right? And then I put on a credit or 2 of music classes because it's like that's fun and it's not particularly difficult for me, so I don't necessarily feel like I'm overloading.
Right. So maybe the way that I'm kind of hearing it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is it's like those extra 1 or 2 credits are almost something that you would like to do in your free time anyway.
Yeah.
Like especially if it's music related. So I can definitely get that. For me, I probably wouldn't be doing calculus 2 in my free time. So
Who does?
So I'm not sure if I'd add one of those on. That would be overloading. But yeah, I get that.
Hey, Nate, want to come to our calculus party?
No thanks.
Calculus jam session. Math rock.
Yeah, that's my kind of party right there.
Yeah, but it's also to, fulfill my minor in music. And so it, for the most part, half the reason I'm doing the minor is for fun anyway, because, I like playing music. I might as well get credit for it.
Yeah.
And also to, advance myself to like learn more things and like spend more time like playing with other people and all that.
Right. Yeah, I'll be honest. Well, I was going to say I kind of can't, not that I can't relate. I was going to say my situation is different. I think my situation's actually similar. I'm minoring in data science.
Oh, you picked it up.
I did pick it up.
Cool.
So I know we talked about this last time. They introduced the data science minor last semester.
Yeah.
And I met with like a whole bunch of people and we planned it out extensively and I picked it up. So the reason I'm so math heavy is because of that data science minor.
Wow. Yeah.
I really, really like, like predictive modeling or like working with data or, stuff along those lines.
Yeah.
The problem is like, when I'm getting hit with a lot of new things at once and I don't really have the time in my just everyday life to kind of like handle that, it becomes less fun the more that I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost like I don't look forward to it as much as I did at the beginning of the semester.
Kind of, yeah.
When I had more time. So yeah, I mean but I see where you're coming from. Like something that 1, you enjoy doing, and 2, like it's what you would like to see yourself be doing. Like it's getting any minor, no matter what it is useful. Like I can definitely see your logic there.
Yeah.
I do know, like for myself, like I was saying, for me, the point of the data science minor wasn't just for like my own personal interest. That definitely had like a role. Like I don't really want to be studying something I don't at least somewhat enjoy or enjoy like the parts of it. But on top of that, same thing as I said at the beginning, if I'm going to be going to grad school or like my particular like maybe career interests, data science is like it's
a thing people look for.
It's in demand. Yeah, it's definitely something that having that background and having that skill and then being able to say that I have that skill and prove it is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why I have all these programs I'm enrolled in, and you'd think they're all rather different, right? Because I see people who like major in say cinema and communications, and the way I look at it, it's like, well, cinema is in the school of communication. As far as I can tell, they're close enough that I think a double major in cinema and communication is rather redundant.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, if I'm already majoring in cinema, so I don't want to do communication. I don't even want to do like a communications minor because it feels like I'm just dipping into the same. There's overlap. It feels like I'm dipping into the same condiment and
a little bit of ranch and ranch.
Ranch and sriracha ranch.
Okay, yeah.
No, but so like I want to do first of all, I knew like the only other thing I would tolerate studying is English.
Yeah.
So I was like, I pick English, and those are cinema and English. They're far enough apart, but I like doing them. So I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Mm-hmm. And then I knew, like, I know one of the few things you can do with an English degree is teach. So I'm like, I'll choose the thing where you get certified to teach English while earning an English degree. So departments of film, English, and education right there.
Right.
And then I added a minor in music to be like, I want to look well-rounded and eclectic or something like that. Right. I'm spread out over 4 departments and like I have expertise in those 4 things.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like the school hosts like career fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have like resume workshops. I went to one recently, and a lot of the experts there recommended that I like not necessarily be more well-rounded because they don't know me as a person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like show that I'm more show that like I have interests and I'm not just some robot that's going to show up to work, do my tasks, and then leave.
Or like you only know one thing.
Right, exactly. And so people were like, yeah, honestly, you could even have a section on your resume that just has like, here's what you're interested in.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I also really enjoy like music. I'm trying to pick up more music theory type skills. Mm-hmm. I know nothing but want to know so much. You know,
I can tutor you.
Yeah, I'd love that. And then like this wouldn't necessarily go on a resume, but I am like obsessed with the Boston Celtics and the NBA. And so like I think that employers are almost like they probably don't care necessarily what I'm interested in, but are definitely intrigued to know that I am interested in things and like I'm a real human.
Yeah,
you know?
it can hint at like maybe some skills you have or just give yourself some personality on paper.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so it's just like constantly trying to evolve. And then also, you know, everyone always says this, but like trying to really find who I am and what I like.
Yeah.
And some things like the NBA or whatever, music, like those things kind of just show up. But then like academically, like really putting the time to like think about that stuff and apply myself. And then if I don't like it, I acknowledge that and I reflect on it.
Yeah, and I include on my resume, I include like a section like interests and hobbies to list like the things I'd like to do that may not be exactly relevant to what the thing I'm particularly applying for. And actually, I have multiple resumes.
Right, that's smart.
Because so I have one for like, I refer to it as the general resume, which is for like if I'm applying to menial kind of jobs or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's one for teaching that, you know, it lists mainly my teaching experience, like field work being in school or something. And like sooner or later, it will include like my student teaching experience. Right. And then I have another one, which I feel like is probably the most important, like the one I put the most time into, which is I refer to it as my creative resume.
Okay.
Because it's it focuses on like my interests and pursuits in like filmmaking and video production, and it also includes like experience like doing like internships in those fields and all that, and like I put the podcast on there as experience, and it also includes skills like I know how to do photography and produce video, that I know how to write, arrange, record, and produce music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's definitely extremely intelligent. You know, I'm not necessarily as like widely versed, but even I could use multiple resumes, like at least 2.
Yeah, you already need like quote unquote multiple resumes because you're trying to customize them for every place you're sending them to.
Right, exactly. Right? Yeah, that's honestly really smart. And I actually started working in the career department here. That's one of like the things that they tell us is like, yeah, it's good to, as you said, to have like a basic resume, like something like a catch-all.
Basic.
Yeah, not you know what I yeah.
Make yourself look real basic.
Yeah, make yourself look like candidate like everyone else. No, that's definitely not what you want to do. But they tell us like, yeah, you have that one that you can manipulate easily, and then you have something that's like you want to like specify your resume to make sure it's like, I'm blinking out on the word, but like specifically molded for each job that you're applying to. Yeah. And this probably is like such a boring topic, but I'm interested in it. Like when you're applying, companies really take note that you're looking at the job description, and on top of that, like you're really interested in the job and fit their needs.
Yeah, like if you send in like an application and it doesn't include, it looks like you basically don't even know what the company does.
Right.
Like you didn't even do the most basic amount of research to at least let them know why you're interested in the company. They're not going to look at, they're going to look at it and then they're going to throw out your application.
Right, exactly. Yeah, my biggest fear was, you have to write cover letters for a lot of jobs, and frankly, they're annoying to write.
Oh, yeah.
But my biggest fear is I was applying for 2 jobs that were very, very similar in nature. Of course, they had like, I don't know, distinct differences, but they weren't like huge, I guess. And I copy and pasted my cover letter and then I made changes to it, but I copied like the core of it, or I copied the whole thing and then just went and edited it. And I got nervous because I submitted both of them like within a few hours of each other, and
you couldn't remember which was which.
I couldn't remember which was which, and because of that, I wasn't sure which name I put on. And it was for the same. I want to say it was for the same company, but for different positions that just were like similar roles, I guess, within the company. And I like almost broke down and cried out of anxiety because it was a job. Both of them were jobs that I wanted really bad. And if I messed that up and like put the wrong name on each or even one of them, I was going to like throw up on the spot. But it ended up being okay. But just a word of warning for anyone who heeds this, I guess, don't copy and paste. Just do it out. Take the time.
Or just copy and paste the paragraphs in the cover letter.
Right.
Write out the greeting individually, please.
Right, exactly.
Did that go well?
Or
is this recent enough that you don't know yet?
I actually so the company, I don't know if this was specifically for what I'm about to talk about, what I just said. It might have been for a different application, but I was rejected by one position at Travelers, but accepted an internship role, like offered the internship role and accepted it for another at Travelers. So I am officially employed for the summer, which is like the biggest relief that I could ever have. And it's also a little dangerous because now I don't have as much motivation as maybe. No, that's not true, actually. I don't have as much motivation to be job hunting, and it's definitely like a stress off. But I've actually, that was a lie. I've been very motivated towards my career recently. But yeah, I'm going to be working this summer as a product management intern at Travelers.
Okay. And you're just relieved, like you got a gig, now you don't. Yeah,
I'm very relieved I got something to do, and beyond that, like this position was one of, if not my like top choice, and I was like, I was shocked, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to like just make fun of myself and doubt myself, but I was a little, I didn't necessarily expect to get it, because sometimes I fear that like, even though I'm confident and I can have a good interview and stuff like that, maybe my credentials just aren't as good as someone else applying. Like that's always in the back of my mind. And you know, I was just very relieved and happy that I got it.
Yeah. I mean, some amount of self-doubt, it can be healthy. Mm-hmm. In fact, most people should, because like it keeps you on your toes and you're always thinking, I always could be better.
Right.
And it gives you something to work toward.
Right.
But then there's the points where it's too much. You have too much of it to the point like you're just standing still and like doubting yourself and not actually doing anything to better yourself.
Right. You know, and that's definitely gotten me in the past where like maybe I didn't apply for a position, or I just like, you know, I always say like, oh, I'll just punt this one, you know, I'll just let someone else do it. Or you know what I mean? Like, when if I had just applied myself and not just applied, but if I had like really gone for it and put in the effort, you know, I always tell people this, and just maybe don't heed my own advice, is, you know, the worst thing that happens is you don't get it and you move on.
Yeah.
Or so, you know what I mean? Like that's the worst that happens beforehand. And so not just having the confidence, but also having the foresight to know that you wouldn't be applying for something if you didn't believe that you'd do a good job, or at least I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know, I can only speak for myself, but like self-reflect and say, am I applying for the right reasons, or am I applying just to put it on my resume? And it should be for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know, which I would say in a lot of cases are like career-wise, like it can be advancing yourself, but like advancing your education or trying to help a bigger cause or whatever it may be. And then the resume is like a big added bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Like most of the RT creative endeavors I have are, in a way, I want to make them my career, right? But it all stems from the fact that I just like doing them.
Right.
Like making films or playing music and stuff like that.
Right.
And I push for them so hard just because I don't know how to do much of anything else. And I want to push it to the limit. My knowledge, my capability and proficiency at doing whatever those things are, because I just like doing them, and that's what I enjoy doing.
Right. So can I ask, have you personally ever like assisted, or I honestly don't know the answer to this, like made your own film, whether like short film or longer works or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a production course last spring where we made a bunch of little projects, and then there was the big final project was like a short film.
Gotcha. So like after that experience, or maybe some other experience in film, could you feel yourself getting better like in the moment, or like more comfortable with, whether it's like more comfortable with software or hardware, or just more comfortable with the process itself, or like beyond that, taking a look back, do you ever like look back and think, you know what, that was good and I'm proud of that, but I would have done this differently if I started the project today?
Totally. Yeah. Because like whenever you look back at, you know, anything you've done, hindsight is 2020. You can think, oh man, I could have done this better. I could have done this. I could have brought in help. Because like that short film I made, it was literally just me.
Yeah.
And I was also an actor in it.
Sure.
So I'm like shooting and directing myself. It was really tiring, especially, I mean, because especially like I can't even like being the person to make sure you're in focus in a shot. It's crazy. Yeah. And, you know, there's, of course, since then I've learned so many other things about, well, first of all, when I was making that film, I learned about like producing, and because making sure like scheduling time to do it, and like making sure like everything you think you need is done, and then not doing it. And also like part of the thing I think people should learn about is like when you're shooting, shoot in a way that it is practical and makes sense in terms of sequencing. Because if you're, say, like, have you heard the thing about how films are usually shot out of sequence?
I have heard that before, yeah.
Because it just, you know, if you think of like a film, like an actual film, big Hollywood film, there are so many people working on it.
Yeah.
You have to make sure all their schedules work out. And also, you also have to make sure, like, based on whatever the movie is, the way you shoot makes sense. Like say, this character shaves their head at this point in the movie. Well, obviously, you have to shoot the part where they shave their head and all the parts after that where they have a shaved head,
right?
Like on the back half,
right? And those are things that you just have to plan that out, and that's why you got to go. Probably, I mean, I can only assume you got to go through your whole storyline and think like, well, are there scenes that we need to film now or like before others, even if they're not chronologically how we're going to place them, or
and also based on like location, like say, if first couple of scenes, they're in this building. But then it cuts to this scene that's in this other place. But then after that scene is done, it cuts back to the first building.
Right.
It's like you're gonna shoot all the scenes that take place in that one building there.
Right.
In one like setting or whatever.
Right.
You know?
You know that I'm not an actor, as they say in the industry, but it's gotta be hard psychologically to like act out of chronological order. I can only assume.
Yeah, it's sometimes it can be weird.
Yeah.
Because like say people who are stage actors, 99.9% of plays, theatrical plays, they're gonna take place linearly. Yeah. Like you'll see it beginning, middle, and end
unfold right before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when they're acting, they have the story to follow, and like they can feel like the crescendo of emotion at the climax and whatever. Right? And it makes sense because you had everything leading up to that going linearly. But if you're making a film, you're going to be shooting out a sequence, and sometimes the way scheduling goes, it might just happen that like, the big climax in the story, or have to like really, this is a real emotional scene, have to like really bring it. Mm-hmm. Might be the first thing you shoot.
Yeah, that's tough. That's got to be so hard. I mean, I like to say that I'm an actor because I do this bit where I run into signs and then pretend to be hurt, or I'll walk into a door, like I'll punch it with my hand or slap it and then just fall to the ground, and then I just cry and complain for like 5 minutes, and my friends get very annoyed with me because they know it's a joke, but then they can't really tell, and then people that are walking by are like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, oh. Because at that point, like, you can't even say that it's a joke, because then it's like even more awkward and disrespectful to them. So yeah, that's my life.
I like committing to the bit though.
No, that's all I do. All I do is commit to the bit.
Yeah. And I learned things during the production of that film, but I've also learned things since then. Like I made that film before I started the podcast, and now since then I know a little, one or two things, at least one or two more things about recording and like mixing sound.
Right.
And so if I were to make that film again, which I wouldn't, because I was real tired during the entire process, and it's done. I don't want to touch it anymore.
Right.
But if I did, I would like record and mix the sound better.
Yeah, sure. And that's the thing. You'll probably, until you're just done being an artist, whenever that may be, until the end of your life, you can probably look back at the most recent project that you've done, I can only assume, and think, you know what, I'm proud of that, or maybe you're not proud of it, and say, oh, but there's still something that I can do differently. Yeah. And I think that can be, like, sentiment can be applied not just to the arts, but like anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's academics or athletic or so, you know what I mean? Like any bigger project of any means, I feel like that's a healthy mindset to have to an extent, where it's like, don't overanalyze. Don't beat yourself up for little stupid mistakes that no one besides you is going to notice. But always recognize,
like, you could always do better.
Right.
I like to think of this quote from Leonardo da Vinci, that he
great actor. That was a joke. That was a joke.
I loved him in The Departed. He says, art is never finished, only abandoned.
Right.
Because, literally anything you do, make, whatever, the point where, like, you quote unquote decide it's finished, that's like the snapshot of like when you stopped working on it.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, here it is. But the thing is, you could always be working on it, be tweaking it, and like you look back like, man, I could I just didn't want to work on it anymore,
right,
and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and I wonder though, not to challenge Da Vinci because I loved him in Inception, but I wonder though if you can do too much, like you can spend too much time.
Oh
on
yeah,
something.
totally.
And not that that's like a direct objection to that point, because I completely get it and I would agree. But almost like sometimes I stare at like an essay or something, or or like a thought experiment, and I've gotten to the core of what I wanted to say. I've said it in a manner that I believe is effective and whatnot. And at that point, it's like almost unhealthy and beyond like my own mental stability of not just wanting to stare at a paper any longer. Like it would almost do the paper or an art piece or a song or whatever, you know what I mean? Like an injustice if you kept tweaking it.
Yeah.
Because it almost removes, to an extent, it almost removes the artistic value from it. And then at that point, it just becomes a frustration project of trying to get something perfect.
Yeah.
When almost highlighting the imperfections can almost make it seem better.
Yeah, and thing is, if you keep working on it, it's never going to be done.
Right.
Which means it'll never be a thing you did that's out in the world.
Right, and no one can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right.
And focusing so much on like little minutiae, you start to lose the sight of the big picture because you're working on these little details that, first of all, I'm pretty sure 99% of people aren't going to notice that you could have done this a little better. But it also, like, it may distract you from the larger thing.
Right.
And so you spend all this time working on this tiny little thing, and then you think you got it perfect. Then you zoom out, and then like you realize, oh, I forgot to work on the rest of it, and now it's kind of shit.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine if Da Vinci had been caught up in the details that we never got Titanic, or so, you know what I mean, like. He was too worried about his hair or something. Okay, I'm going to drop that joke. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I knew that when I said it, that it was one joke too many, but I just like couldn't resist. No, I agree though. Like when you refuse to, like when you get so obsessive almost over perfection, it takes away from the message that you're trying to display. Because at a certain point, like striving for perfection, like I said, it almost like takes the humanity out of it.
Yeah.
Because like the perfection of humans is almost the imperfections of us. You know what I mean? It's that we have flaws and we deal with them and we analyze ourselves. You know what I mean? It's
if everyone were quote unquote perfect, we would all be the same. And that would make for a rather boring existence where everyone's just like walking around like robots doing the same things the same way just every day.
Yeah. Like that Robin Williams movie. I didn't actually see it. It was
Bicentennial Man?
Yeah. I'd never actually seen the movie.
I'd never seen it either.
I saw it on TV the other day and saw one scene. I was like, that robot kind of looks like Robin Williams.
Because it was.
And it was Robin Williams. And then I just stopped watching.
Yeah. And, whenever I think about the term perfection, I connect it to music because, okay, so we have computer generated music and it's quote unquote played perfectly on beat, perfectly on pitch.
Yeah.
And sure, technically speaking, yes, it is technically correct and it's perfect at being technically correct.
Right.
But if you got a robotic drum beat or there's this thing about how pop music has become manufactured and like all the hits on a drum kit are like lined up right on the beat. Mm-hmm. And then it feels boring and robotic and like auto-tuned all the notes to be correct, and it feels like sanitized. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, when real people, like when a real drummer is playing the drums, it's going to fluctuate a bit because not everyone has perfect rhythm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's going to move, it's going to sway a little bit, and that's called feel. That's what makes it like a good beat to nod your head to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder, because you say like there's the argument that pop music has become a little too I don't know what was your wording?
Manufactured.
Like, yeah, manufactured. I wonder if at a certain point the demand for that manufactured sound, like because obviously there's a high demand for pop music, you know what I mean? People, and this isn't all pop artists, but like a lot of them, is very high. Like a lot of people love that sound. You know, I wonder if eventually it'll grow tired and
Oh, I've grown tired.
no, I know, but I mean like from the massive,
Yeah.
like a massive people, because I listen to a lot of music. Some of it is pop music, and some of the pop music I really like. But I'd have to agree, there's just like a certain emotional connection that you can gather from little imperfections that like you don't even necessarily like. It's more subconscious. Like when I listen to a song, I'm not saying, oh well, it's like, you can tell that it's somewhat offbeat at certain points, or it's somewhat off pitch. You know what I mean? Like this person doesn't have a perfectly tuned voice, but subconsciously, like I appreciate those imperfections. And like you said, sometimes it's something that I can nod my head, because when you can really feel like an artist connected to their song, I feel like it improves the quality, especially if you really like that song.
Yeah.
And it's like those cliches, like, oh yeah, they put a lot of love into it, or you know what I mean? But that can definitely be true. A lot of times you can sense like the care that someone puts into a song. And I will have a little bit of defense for like electronic music or like electronic generated music. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely put a lot of care and thought and effort and love, and character into it. But there is a trend of more manufactured music. Yeah. But I'd say that those are two things. Like just because something is made using software or, you know, electronically or digitally, you know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that there's something like
missing.
Right. Or like, some character, like you said, or like humanity missing from it. But it might be harder to overcome that. Like there might be a barrier that like having someone play out the guitar for you, or having someone play the piano or sing without auto-tune might happen to add character in certain situations.
Yeah, like I think of the last Beatles album from 1970, Let It Be. Mm-hmm. There's just one song, I think it's Dig a Pony, where John Lennon is singing on it. And there are some bits of it where like someone plays a guitar thing one beat too early, and like there's one part where John sings the wrong note. Like it was that particular take, it was that note he hit was just not in tune so much.
Right.
And as much as I idolize musicians like the guys who were in the Beatles, I love them so much, and they inspire me to play music and like be the best I can. It reminds me like, oh, they were just guys.
Yeah.
And like they made mistakes sometimes, and a lot of times they were probably just really funny in the moment.
Right. Right. Yeah. And you know, sometimes stuff like that, like mistakes like that, are actually something that tie you closer to that artist. Or, you know, sometimes it happens in basketball, like someone will dribble off their foot, or they'll throw the ball, like the ball will slip out of their hands and like go into the stands, or they'll throw it at someone's face and something or something stupid.
Yeah.
And you know, I laugh and I'm like, well, you know, I could do that. Like I could be in the NBA. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's like what everyone says, and who knows if it's actually true, but it's like, oh, superstars, they're just like us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not all. Actually, a lot of very rich people are not at all like me.
Yeah.
But maybe personality-wise, like a lot of these, especially I'll say like pro athletes, I see a lot of times like, personality-wise, they are very similar. They just happen to play a sport for like a profession, but like these mistakes, like you can see how they react after a mistake. Sometimes they just laugh it off and they say like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just a mistake and I'll just get the next one. And that's like a good attitude to have for a lot of things in life, and it kind of brings humanity to that. And like you were saying, like in music, like the Beatles, who are like praised as gods by a lot of people, or like one of the most revolutionary bands of all time, like, yeah, they messed up all the time. I'm sure they probably got very frustrated at each other. I've heard stories.
Yeah, and not all their songs are winners.
Yeah, no. There's a few that are really out there.
Oh yeah.
What's the one with is it an alligator or I'm the alligator? Is that
I am
the Beatles?
I am the walrus.
I am the walrus.
I am the Eggman.
I am the Eggman. Yeah.
I am the walrus.
Not that that's a bad song. I just think it's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, John Lennon he wrote that song because he was tired of people like analyzing his lyrics and like totally coming up with very far-fetched conclusions.
Putting false meaning.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm going to write a bunch of lyrics that's going to confuse the fuck out of them.
That's classic.
Yeah.
That's something I would do.
Yeah, me too.
I actually, this is probably going to plug myself for a second. Me and one of my close friends, also named Nathan, finished a song recently with the help of our friend Sean, who's very good at like using Logic and other music software. And we're gonna release it. And it's like it's my first time ever like singing at all. It's one thing that I'm really proud of because like I haven't really gotten the chance to work on like my artistic side, like actually put work into it, even though I've always really wanted to. Like I really enjoy listening to music and making music with friends and stuff like that, and I've always talked about actually doing it. Yeah, this was the first time I actually did it. So whether or not like people like the song or anything like that is really not in my mind as much as like actually putting something out there and having a finished quote unquote Leonardo da Vinci product out there is really cool.
What kind of song is it? What genre is it?
I'd say it's like, my Nathan always says the phrase like bedroom pop. It's like soft pop. You know what I mean? Like, bedroom pop is probably like.
Do I know this other Nathan?
Nathan Murphy.
No, okay.
Yeah, he's a really nice kid. He's a psychology major here. He's a senior. He's also happens to be very talented, like a very good singer, very improved, like software wise, like technologically, very good guitar player. He's just like all around, very talented. So I'm lucky to even get to work with him, but it's cool, and I'm excited.
All right, and you sang on it?
Yeah, I sang the bridge. Okay, so not too long. Like I just had like a 20-second like verse, I guess. The bridge. And part of the chorus. And I helped, I'll say helped in quotes. I added my own ideas and helped produce it. Okay. Yeah.
That's cool.
No, very cool.
Did you like play any instruments on it or?
No. So I actually I played the bass for 4 years, like the double bass.
Oh, okay.
But that was all throughout middle school. And I don't remember how to play at all. Oh, okay. And that was the only instrument I ever learned. So I actually can't play like any instrument. I could. I don't know how to play any instruments. I'm relearning how to read music and trying to teach myself the piano. And now that I have more time, hopefully I'll actually commit to that instead of just doing it every other week like I am now. Yeah. Because that's no way to learn. But it's been fun to like actually learn stuff. But no, I didn't play any instruments on it. It was all like they have like the drum kit or whatever on Logic, like you were saying. And like it is a little bit of a manufactured sound, but the stuff that Nathan did is like it sounds like not. I truly believe it sounds not manufactured. Okay. Like my stuff is more like by the books. He was a little bit more creative in the stuff that he did.
I'm trying to get more into recording. Mm-hmm. Aside from like doing the podcast, mm-hmm. and then like because now that I feel like I know at this moment, I think I do know enough, just enough that I could be. I think I want to make records now. Yeah, I want to start writing music, recording it, and like actually making music.
Yeah, no, I say as soon as you know that's a good point. Like as soon as you hit like the bare minimum. I say go for it because that's how you're going to learn. Oh, yeah. That's how you're going to improve. And that's how you're going to actually like feel accomplishment and maybe even get recognition for the work that you're putting in.
Oh yeah.
Is if you just go out and do it. So I definitely so I can't really speak from experience because I'm using all of Nathan's like hardware. And then I have Logic and he has Logic and he has like more plugins. So like it's also his software. So like he's the one that hits the requirements. But then again, like I just have the basics. I have my voice. I have my brain, which maybe it's not that good. My math teachers would definitely say it's not that good, but nonetheless, like I'm still trying to try.
Yeah. And I want to be able to, at some point in the near future, like get the right equipment to, like at least the absolute bare minimum, like things I need to like make decent sounding records.
Yeah.
And
what kind of music do you want to make?
I have this idea that I'm gonna like the first record I put out. It's gonna be like songs I write that sound like jazz standards or like kind of folky kind of songs mixed with like kind of instrumental things that sound weird.
Yeah.
You know, that are just like they're not quote unquote songs. They're more like weird things and like that are like droney or in weird time signatures, and they're more like just this riff thing and like that evolves over a few minutes or something like that. But it's not like a song as in like it has lyrics and like I sing on it or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a cringy question to ask. Do you like Radiohead?
Oh, I love Radiohead.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why your description put Radiohead in my mind, in my head. Not that was a one-to-one description at all, but I could definitely see you making, I could definitely see music like that you described being something that I would want to listen to. Yeah, which I hope you take as a compliment.
Yeah.
Not that my taste in music is impressive at all, but I meant that as a compliment, even though it probably didn't come off.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm so broke. And so like
I don't know why I laughed at that. I'm sorry. I'm so broke, and like being like someone who getting into recording, that's like the most expensive hobby ever. Oh yes.
And so it's like I'd have to find a way to earn some money so I can buy gear.
I bought like the cheapest mic that I could find, the cheapest decent quality mic that I could find, and it was $60, and that was like a steal. You know what I mean? I'm sure. I don't know. Hardware and software for recording is very expensive.
Yeah, like I want to. You ever heard of Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Yeah, this music software by Avid. That's like the industry standard for people to record and produce music with.
Yeah.
And like an individual license is like $600 or $700.
Yep.
And that's for a perpetual license.
Yeah.
But they also have like subscription based licenses. And then even if I do like the educational discount, it's still $300 that I have to pay in order to have a perpetual license for Pro Tools.
Yeah, I got Logic Pro, which is not necessarily a standard, but definitely like for what I want to do is probably my best option, and that was over $200.
Oh yeah,
I think it was $200 flat, but like it's tough, man.
Yeah, and like I also want to have like music notation software because the way I write songs, or at least compositions, even if they're not like quote unquote songs or
I get
they
what
don't
you're
sound
saying.
like compositions.
Right.
I like the way, because my ear is not great. I can't really remember things the best. The way I remember them is I write them out.
Right.
Because like I know how to read a little bit, and
when you say read, you mean music,
as in music. Yeah, I know how to read music a little bit, and I know I've just my memory for musical fragments is not great, especially because my ear is not good.
Okay,
and so it's like the only way I can remember how a thing goes is if I write it down, and I have MuseScore, which is a free thing, but also it looks kind of tacky.
Okay.
And so I want to like, I think the big two things that people use are called Finale and another one called Sibelius, which is owned by Avid, the people who make Pro Tools.
Have you ever considered, like, with a love for music and a love for film, cinema, doing music videos?
Oh yeah,
Like to go. Have you ever done one?
Kind of. Mm-hmm. Like I just submitted a film for one of my classes that's basically 5 minutes of me playing guitar.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily a music video, but it's a video of me playing music.
It's a video music.
A video of music.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm also interested in like composing music for movies. Like
that's awesome.
For my movies.
Yeah, that's really cool. Wow. God, I would love that. That's sick. Good for you. Dang, I'm kind of jealous now. I kind of want to do that. I'm considering composing music for my economics program. Here, take that.
Check it out. This beat here, that's money.
Yeah. Supply and demand, y'all.
Y'all want this? I know you do.
Whoa.
Y'all know who it is. I'm making you sound like a rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, you're wearing this hoodie and you're like you have the hood up and then you're
that's who I am.
What would your Nate Dogg?
Nate Dogg. Rest in peace, Nate.
Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. But I'm gonna Nate Carr will inherit your stage name.
No,
he will be Nate. He will from now on be Nate Dogg.
No, I have too much respect for Nate Dogg to. I joke about a lot of things. I'm not gonna cross that line. Rest in peace.
Oh no,
Nate
would you
Dogg.
rap? Would you be?
Would I rap? I love rap. I personally, would I if I was talented enough? Yeah. No, I love rap. I actually used to like write poetry / rap, but I just wouldn't perform. Like I just did it.
Yeah, me too.
For fun. Just to like get thoughts on a page, and two, like rhyming and like figuring out flow and like with actual meaning is very, very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love Kendrick. I listen to Kanye probably way more than I'd like to admit.
At one point I did too.
Yeah. You know, I've had an on and off relationship listening to J. Cole.
Right.
I used to really like him, then really didn't like him.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of in between. He puts out some very good songs. Why am I blanking? Have you ever, this is a good question. Have you ever listened to Kenny Beats The Cave?
No, I haven't.
So Kenny Beats is a hip hop producer, and he has a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And on his YouTube channel, he invites rappers on, or people in a rap group. And what he'll do is he'll like ask them. He'll be like, "Okay, give me like what do you want to hear in a song, right? A freestyle track." And they'll like give him ideas, whether it's like a joke or a serious idea. And then what he'll do is he'll make the beat on the spot in like 10 to 20 minutes while recording and like chatting it up with the rapper.
Yeah.
And then whoever the rapper is, will go into the studio and freestyle over the track that he just made. And it's one of the coolest concepts I've ever seen in my life, because it's like, it's so like, he expresses his creativity. The person who's rapping gets to show off their talent, express their creativity, all while like making an entertaining video.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. So like that kind of stuff, like coming up with raps very quick.
Yeah.
That's something that I'd love to be able to do. I just don't have like the skill to actually rap.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I actually, before I ever started playing music or was interested in like making music, I was really into rap, and like it was all I listened to. And I also wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Back in high school, like I was listening to Kanye West way too much.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still a fan of Kanye, but up until 2010.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was listening to like Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, I love Lupe Fiasco.
At least the first two albums.
Yeah.
And like
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi. I was into Kid Cudi, at least the first two. And like A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes.
And, Common.
I don't really. I should listen to Common.
Yeah.
I don't really.
And Public Enemy is like my favorite.
Yeah.
My rap name was MC Benny T.
Yeah, that's okay. That's kind of fire. Okay, Benson.
What would your rap name be other than Nate Dogg?
Other than Nate Dogg. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think you put me on the spot, man. Do you have any ideas while I'm brainstorming?
I don't know.
I mean, Nate Dogg is just what? That's like the go-to
Yeah.
classic fallback. But would I actually hypothetically ever do that? No. No, I think that's very disrespectful.
Like replace your last name with an actual car model.
Yeah. Model T. Throwback, baby.
Nate Model T.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's it.
Nate Escalade.
Oh, that's actually kind of Escalade is kind of fun. There's probably already someone named Escalade.
I don't know. We can check later. But
Yeah.
Or like go into the Wu-Tang Clan rap name generator and see what pops out.
I'm gonna do that right now, actually, if you don't mind.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna you know Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, he found his name Childish Gambino from the Wu-Tang name generator.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Wu-Tang name generator. I didn't even know that this was a thing. Oh, do you have to take a quiz?
No, it's just like you enter your name.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're clicking on a sketchy link or something like that.
Is it ruminedmonkey.com?
I have no idea.
Wait, let me Google this. I don't want to get a virus.
Oh, this is good radio, people.
Yeah, my bad. Wait, no, I got it. Enter the Wu-Tang. I don't even know what this... Yo, I'm sorry.
Oh, where I could...
Nate Carr, from this day forward, you will also be known as excessive contender. With the X... It's X dash excessive contender.
Wait, did you put Nate or Nathan?
I put Nate. Should I put Nathan?
Let's see what happens.
Okay. Nathan Carr. So Nathan Carr, from this day forward, you will be known as Bitta Assassin. That's kind of fire. I like excessive contender though.
Wait, now put Nathaniel.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the advantage of having three names. Nathaniel Carr. Yo, okay. Nathaniel Carr, from this day forward, you will also be known as Dynamic Wanderer. That's kind of fire.
Yeah. So you're gonna...
Okay, so the album's coming out in 3 months. Dynamic Wanderer.
Whenever this is posted, he will have a mixtape coming out under the name Dynamic Wanderer.
Yeah. That's right. Put that instead of Nathan Carr, put Dynamic Wanderer. The Benson Ty podcast experience with Dynamic Wanderer. That's fire, dude. That is. It is. I just said I had that brain.
And now when your friend Nathan releases that track, has to say featuring Dynamic Wanderer.
Dynamic Wanderer.
or introducing Dynamic Wanderer. That's what I was gonna say.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Dynamic Wanderer. Yeah, wow. I can't believe I invented my alter ego on this podcast.
Yeah.
This podcast...
Guys, this is a big moment for us.
I was about to say, 5 years from now, when I am the most successful hip-hop artist of all time...
Among UHart alumni.
Among people named Nate Carr, who also graduated from the University of Hartford in 2021. The most successful hip-hop artist. No, this podcast is going to go down in history. People are going to look at this and be like, wow, that's where...
Guys, you heard it here first.
Dynamic Wanderer was born. It's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
All right, in terms of big things happening, I don't think we can top that.
I don't think so either. That might have just... That might
Guys,
be the peak.
shut it down.
Shut it down.
The podcast is over.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
As in, I will not produce any more episodes. Guys, we're done.
I'm sorry. I think I just got you canceled.
We reached the peak. I got myself canceled.
That's my bad. That's funny.
Oh God. No, but yeah, cool things have happened here.
Yeah.
And we've gone on for like a typical length of an episode. We could end here. We should because I don't want to taint the specialness of.
I feel myself saying something stupid soon, so let's end on a good note.
of having found your rapping alter ego, Dynamic Wanderer, on the podcast.
I gotta say before we end, what a great conversation in terms of starting off at one completely opposite thing and ending with the birth
with you becoming a rapper,
Dynamic Warrior,
the birth
Wanderer. Sorry, Warrior. I don't know why I have Warrior. My bad.
Dynamic Wandering Warrior.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, actually, how does it feel to be a returning guest?
It feels very good. I'm honored. I was a little shocked that you even had me back on.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
The first time was so fun. I only ever want to keep having fun with this.
Yeah.
So like having people on repeat appearances is it's a no-brainer for me.
That's awesome.
But also, if I only ever interviewed or podcasted people once in their lifetime, the show would be dead in a year.
Right. No, yeah, but I mean, honestly, it's probably good to catch up with people and just
also,
see.
I treat this as like an excuse for me to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I don't really get to see you often at all. Like, you are very busy, I'm very busy, which is how life tends to be.
Yeah.
But the fact, I had to cancel a few weeks ago because I was sick.
Yeah.
The fact that we were able to sit down and do this means a lot.
And then, like, if we had done it like the first time, the first scheduled time, we might not have discovered your rap alter ego.
We might not. We probably wouldn't have, honestly.
In fact, this raises the bar.
Yeah.
Like, if I have you on again, we have to do something even better.
Next time I come on, I rap. You heard it here first.
You'll plug your new mixtape.
Yeah.
Under your new real mixtape.
No, next time I come on, I rap. That's no.
And then you perform all the songs off your mixtape.
Your podcast is just going to be my platform to perform.
Like, it's not going to even be like a conversation with you. It's just going to be me introducing the mixtape, and then you send me the tracks, and I stitched them together. So it's just a stream of your mixtape.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. We got to get working on this then.
All right.
Or, I mean, you got to get working on this.
I'm going to be very busy. Screw having free time. Thank you, Benson.
All right.